Payday 3 is right around the corner. Well, kinda. Payday 3 is going to be a spiritual successor of the cooperative first-person shooter called Payday 2, made by Overkill Software. Screw that, we're not an IGN, so here's not a top 5, not a top 10, but top 69 concepts and ideas for Payday 3. The first two things are super obvious, but if I won't include them, people would write them in the comments, but they're super obvious, so why should those two even be a topic of discussion, am I right? Better game engine and graphics. These are pretty much confirmed, so let's get to number 3 ASAP. Number 3 is having more character in characters. I don't care about the lore, how they got into the gang, I wanna feel like I'm a specific heister with his own style. And there are two ways to achieve this. The first way is the GTA Online's way, character creation. I don't mind this one if there will be a ton of customization options and voice lines to choose from. And the second way is having one character equal one playstyle. Payday 2 kinda works this way, with every new character having his own separate perk deck, but in my opinion this is not enough. Chains doesn't hate stealth that much, and Sangres doesn't have any specific love for his revolvers. Those instances are out of character, so I have a few ideas on how to fix this. Obvious route is having different bonuses for each heister, or picking a character being equal to picking a perk deck. These are okay ways to do it, but I have another idea. Character-specific animations. Okay, let's compare Chains carrying an LMG to the Joy carrying an LMG. Joy's favorite weapons are SMGs, so for her, holding an LMG is going to be super uncomfortable. So it will make the player feel uncomfortable via a specific way of weapon handling. Lots of people in the comments want to press F interaction circle not to make it into the next game and instead have animations in its place. So let's imagine this. Wolf is repairing the drill. He knows which hammer is for which internal screw and his animation should be fluent. On the other hand, there is once again Chains, who would most likely smash the drill with the weapon butt and scream. And they both would fix the drill in the same time, but with different animations. How cool would it be? And for those people who think that these animations are super hard to make and it will slow down the process of creating heisters, yes, you're right, but do we really need that many characters? I prefer quality over quantity, but maybe it's just me. Also, imagine having access to unlockable animations, but please make them first person, this is just too cringy. Number 5 is the game's setting. Since Bane is now a president, crime in Washington DC doesn't make much sense, so what do you think about the CrimeNet expansion? Payday gang steals the UK Queen's crown, robs the Kremlin, I don't know, drops down the Pisa Tower. Sounds cool to me. Number 6 is an actual story mode. It's easier said than done, but at least improve on the current version so it doesn't feel like a placeholder anymore. On the topic of how the games feel, I love the new direction the Payday 2 story took with the ancient powers and mythology, but please don't make us steal secret magic boxes. The heist should still be heists, with gold, guns and nukes. Leave the Nephilims to the geeks like myself. Secret should stay secret in my opinion. Random player doesn't need any of these. The game shouldn't be realistic, shouldn't be cartoony or goofy, it should be badass. And one more thing about the story, an actual cutscene at the start of a level instead of a voiceover, with your crew, your customized suits and masks. It's hard to make, but it's worth it, for the first 2 times, then everyone would just skip them. But the cutscenes are cool, believe me, or just make a camera fly above the map, there is already mod for this and it's really great. Okay, and let's talk about the most important stuff, gameplay. First of all, let's explore the teamplay aspect of the co-op shooter we all love. Contrary to popular belief, it's there, because the current meta involves Inspire Ace and Medic bags, which are pretty much 100% must-picks. But is it really the teamplay we all want? At least I think it's not enough. My proposed changes to fix this problem are: Number 1, team-oriented perks and skills. You can add stoics and rogues to the game, but they should be worse than crew chiefs and maniacs. If the perk has abilities that can benefit the whole gang in a coordinated team, they must be better. And the solo perks must, number 1, take more skill to use, and number 2, be worse than the team ones. Not useless, but worse. Solo players would have to become jacks of all trades, while coordinated teams would have much more spare skill points to spend on their weapons and abilities. Number 2, team moves stuff on a map that's only accessible with a coordinated team. Let's visualize, for example, a map where you need to take any number of bags from point A to point B. And if you play with a team, you can use your teammates' help to get up to a certain place with less action. Or maybe some kind of a sniper position with additional heals and ammo. A bit off topic, but please make the sniper positions useful. The idea is too cool and also ties in with my next point. Number 3, players picking roles and being more separated from each other. And I'm not talking about the classes or skills, roles that depend on the map. Like one guy can go and get the thermite, other might hack computers, and the last 2 left defend the civilians. This was used in a marketing campaign for Payday 2, but this playstyle isn't used enough. By the way, with 6 or even 8 players in the lobby, this might become even more fun and rewarding, and be a well needed indirect nerf for the Inspire Ace. Get it? Because the range is limited. Last one in the teamplay section, I want every player to have a voice commands wheel or maybe a ping system. This way teamplay is is easier to achieve without voice chatting. On to more general stuff, the obvious skill trees principle. No skill should be 100% must pick at all times. Current system is almost perfect in this aspect, but duck and cover plus parkour basic skills exist to this very day. Also, playing in a team and not having the inspire aced feels like a spit in a teammate's face. Overkill, please make sure not to have such buffs available in the skills category. Players shouldn't rely on passive bonuses. Let me give you an example. Sicario takes much more skill to use than the Rogue. It has a more specific benefit and provides a unique playstyle. In which way is Sicario better than the Rogue? Not in a single. It's fun, I can use it from time to time, but the Rogue with the infamous Swan Song does the same job and is more reliable. Rogue is a cool perk deck, but its con should be unreliability. And not a 75% dodge chance plus Swan Song plus Hardware Expert plus Die Hard plus Combat Doctor being 100% pick for higher difficulties in total grant you a boring meta. Good players are going to say that Rogue is bad because it's RNG dependent, but not everyone playing this game speedrunning God Sim without meds. Some people just want to get the one down mask and move on, and Rogue is the path of least resistance for them, and I don't want to see the same thing happening in the next game. So why is this meta so boring? There are lots of factors, but the most important one, the number of enemies. Overkill, please, less enemies on a map at the same time in Payday 3. Another thing that I saw in the comment section to the Bcrofts video is people asking for less bag moving, and this is where it gets tricky. Solution to this problem in my opinion should depend on the map. If it's a super fast paced get in get out type job with no loot required like the Mall Crasher or even Brooklyn 1010, then the loot bags should be optional and hard to take with you. If the job is a real heist, then the problem should be solved like on a nightclub, with additional loot drop off points in pre-planning. And if the map is super open, and I'm going to say it, vehicles. Not the 4 loot bag max Longfellow, but a real, I don't know, truck. Or maybe we might even be able to choose what vehicle to bring, choosing either speed or the amount of loot it can hold. And Unreal can have amazing vehicles like in Fortnite for example. They may not be super realistic, but I hope they'll not feel like you're driving a bag full of gold. Okay, number 19 is also a huge request from the community that I don't fully agree on, but I have an idea on how to make it work. 7-day heists. I know they're super hard to make, but it sounds so cool, right? Not really, because even in 3-day heists some days feel out of place and tedious. So how do we fix it in 7-day heists? Skippable days. Like we can skip the escape by buying a better driver, so why can't we hire a man who will trade the paintings and framing frame? So with this in the game, the new players would get the sense of scale, and the regular Payday 2 players like me would get the most action possible. Also, imagine skipping Red's Day 2, you'll be missing out on a lot of cash, so in my opinion this is a fair trade-off. Okay, so what's better than the 7-day heists? Plan C jobs. Election Day is one of the best heists in Payday 2 just for that one mechanic. You're doing something on day 1 to change the day 2 entirely is such an amazing concept that nothing can beat it. And for number 21, I want people that remember the good old days to recreate them in their memory. Do you remember the builds from 2013? Stealth plus loud in a single build. And I'm not asking Overkill to bring those back, of course, the current profile system is too good. So how do we bring the stealth approach first and then the guns blazing second? On Golden Green we have our equipment stashed in a guitar case, so why can't we have an equipment stash on every map where pre-planning is available? So we'll start using our stealth build, and if the alarm goes off we'll just switch the profile using the stash. Of course this stash should be worth a lot, but it will save a ton of jobs from failing. Also on the topic of Golden Grin, more maps with civilian mode available. Maybe even having a civilian or a spy role in a team who would for example disguise himself as a policeman if we're robbing the police station, or a Murky Water troop if we're robbing Murky Water. Maybe he won't be a regular civ then, but you get the point, it opens up a lot of possibilities. But why would anyone buy the equipment stash I talked about earlier? Isn't it easier to just restart the game? Maybe if we change some things this won't be easier. For example, what if completing stuff in stealth would count towards the loud objectives too, like on the OG Diamond heist? Also, with pre-planning being on more maps, people would spend a lot more cash on it, and restart won't be just a time-consuming strategy. But for real, another quick idea. Getting good experience from losing. It makes sense and it isn't that OP. But you know what's OP? Crime Spree. In my opinion, this is the single worst addition to Payday 2 ever. You don't even need to cheat in this game anymore if it wasn't easy enough already. This could have been a good late game challenge, but one single shadow raid or the FBI server ECM rush and you get an infinite amount of all currencies. Just don't add it into Payday 3 or rework it so it will have only the game mode specific rewards. I want money to actually have some kind of worth. I've seen some comments calling Payday 2 a grinding game, but if it's the case, then it's the first ever grinding game with nothing to grind. Okay, I might release a different video on this topic, you got the idea. Okay, let's switch from ranting to another wish. This, by the way, should also be implemented into Payday 2 if Infamy 3.0 will ever be added. An actual Infamy reset. First 2 levels should feel like a fresh start, not getting 100 levels just by cashing out on crimes. Okay, that's enough. After an Infamy reset, Heisters should only be able to play 4 stores and jewelry store type jobs, so the progression would feel rough and challenging. And then, after a specific level cap, more jobs will start to pop up on CrimeNet. The system would also prevent new players from joining
Henry's cock
on death sentence, which is also super annoying. If you have watched to this very moment, please press the like button. It's easy and makes a huge difference, just like my next idea, optional objectives. Of course, helping people on the street or any other way to implement quests in a game sounds obnoxious, but some things like notes in a manager's office pointing out the location of a secret safe hidden underneath a carpet would make the level exploration outside of the objective feel more rewarding. And please, keep the gauge packages, or even better, rework them. Bring back the dog tags. I want to be on the lookout for stuff. Oh, and about stuff. High-specific rewards like the outfits from the new DLCs. This system's awesome. High-level challenges, trophies with unique rewards for late game to challenge even the veteran players. Customizable van skins, skins for helicopters, etc. Personally, I'm a big fan of Call of Duty's system with different attachments for different situations. And its customization is amazing. Stickers, calling cards, all of these would fit nicely in my opinion, but please keep the custom colors system and include additional ways to earn the colors. COD also has an amazing progression system. I've personally grinded the Dark Matter in Black Ops 4, so maybe some kind of encouragement to use different weapons and deployables, etc. would make Payday 3 better. It just crossed my mind, imagine pick 10 system in Payday. It can work in some weird way. I need to think about it more. In short, I want Payday 3 to have a progression overhaul. A lot of people want some kind of stealth rework. I have some requests too, but mostly they're not that extreme. Stealth, in my opinion, shouldn't try to be realistic, but instead should expand its features a bit more. I want more map interaction, more ways to approach a stealth job, more RNG spawns that are really hard to memorize, but all of the options must be fun, or at least not frustrating, so people won't restart if they can't find something or the objective is too open. Also, imagine not finding manager to just take the keycard from him, but instead interrogating him for information. Also, some other civs on a map might know something. Now, imagine being able to turn off the lights on a map to perform something sneaky before anyone could turn them back on, or luring people by making noise, or rotating cameras the timing of which you must catch. This is the type of interactivity that I wanna see. The point above ties in really well with my next point, pre-planning expansion. The system is already really cool, but it needs some better balance. More approaches, them all having their own pros and cons, and just simply more control over the map. Sounds a lot simpler than it actually is, but whatever. But here's another quick pre-planning expansion idea, which in reality is the exact opposite of pre-planning. I don't know why I've said about the pre-planning in the beginning. Being able to call support from inside the game. Maybe this can be linked to the number of kills, or just make you lose money after the heist is finished, or once again, this ability can be linked to pre-planning, and should be thought about before the start button is pressed. See, now it all makes sense. In short, calling for an attack heli in the middle of the game sounds extremely fun. While I was writing the script for this video, the new Call of Duty zombies were revealed.
Would you look at that?
Onto even more complex stuff, businesses. Payday 2's players right now have nothing to spend their money on, and the money is super easy to get. But if we'll be able to create our own little present factories, sell illegal untraceable weapons, or hold parties in nightclubs, our bank accounts are going to be under pressure constantly. Or this just won't feel like Payday, and I just wish having something that I don't really need. And of course, this could just turn into money farms, so balancing them out might be tricky. On a positive note, the businesses might let you unlock some special types of missions. By the way, more train heist type unlocks are also on my wishlist. Okay, this wish is one of my personal favorites that might actually work really well with the businesses feature. Clans. Okay, this is a really old concept, and of course it shouldn't be called clans. Maybe crews or gangs, but this way it's easier to understand. Payday 2 is all about playing with your crew, so why not to make a system using which you and your friends can compete with other crews. The clan can be 4, 12, 50 people, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the objective. I kinda sound like a motivational YouTuber at this point. The gangs can compete for additional rewards, completing specific challenges. For example, challenges to steal 100 bags of gold or kill 10,000 murky troops. Then when the crew reaches the threshold, it receives special rewards like masks or some kind of clan currency. The same challenges can apply to businesses and create the super mega monster feature. Also, the clan should have a leaderboard with the best crews awarded with, I don't know, a crown mask, mega masks, trophies. The leaderboards must reset every day or month, so it won't be as hard to catch up with the leaders. And the challenges shouldn't feel grindy, just super specific, but not map specific. Everyone should have some sort of freedom with this feature. Leaderboards can not only be implemented for the clans mode, but in general, for every single player. More stats available in game, what else to ask for? Actually, there's still a lot of things, like having less weapons, but each of them being more unique. This one is self-explanatory. Payday 2 has too many reskins. Also, melee combat shouldn't feel as bad and clunky. James Black made a video on this topic, I'll link it in the description. And if it's too much work, just don't implement melee in general, not many people are going to miss it. But I know a thing that everyone will agree is 100% needed in the next game: host migration. I don't know a single shooter game so host dependent. Everything from the enemy's intelligence to the ability to freaking play the game is determined by the host and his setup. And you all know the frustration of playing stealth with friends or in random lobbies. I don't think I need to explain why this is a bad system. Okay, on to the next topic. Payday 2 has 7 difficulty levels. Let me say it once again, 7. I only play 3 of them and I don't think I'm that special in that regard. Overkill is the easy mode for me, Death Wish is normal, and the death sentence is hard, that's all. I've heard the rumor that Overkill balances the game around the Overkill difficulty. It not only sounds great, but also explains a lot of game's problems. Each difficulty should feel like a new challenge with new enemies, tactics to try out, so please, we don't need 7 difficulty levels. This only makes the game harder to balance. Instead, add more game modes like Holdout. But please explain them story-wise, it's not that hard, just give the civilian we protect a name and say he is the son of any bad guy the game has to offer, that's all. Okay, now let's talk about one of the most important things in any first-person shooter in my opinion: movement. Payday 2's system is really fluent, but it can be improved on. My favorite Call of Duty games are the first 2 Black Ops titles, but they are really hard to play after the 3rd and 4th installments. Why? Because there is no sliding. I don't know why I'm so used to it. I even installed the Payday 2 mod that's exactly it. Payday 2 might actually benefit from peeking if done right, or even the ability to lay on the floor. I just want Payday 3 not to turn into some slow drill defense type game. If the movement will be fun, I will never be able to just sit on the objective again. Instead, I want to interact with the world, use my trusty saw more often, have more spots to blow up, lockpick, or even move to create cover. Some Payday 2 maps really need this feature if you ask me. Okay, I'm getting really tired, let's speed up a bit. Lightning round, less talking, more super specific ideas and random thoughts. Make the offshore casino worthwhile. The idea is epic, but it all ties in with the crime spree being OP. I wanna rob them all, like the stealing Xmas but bigger and with just stealing, no helping drunk Ukrainians. I know that the Bane is a president and all, but Fort Knox Heist sounds too cool. Maybe this could be a flashback of some sort, I don't know. More lively maps. I'm not asking for superb graphics, but simple animations and random events make you feel more connected to the game's world. Spring break type news, more live action trailers, I don't know, newspapers at the end of the heist if anyone remembers what newspapers actually look like, people on the street randomly talking about the heist crew has already managed to pull off, real life ARGs, references, and yes, I still love all the Nephilim stuff, my tastes are very singular, you won't understand. Maybe the changeable weather would make the levels feel different each time, or at least make it so you can't kill every single entity on the map that's located in the middle of the city. Contradictory to the last wish, I really want a heist where you must defeat all enemies in a certain location. In stealth, of course. Also, imagine day 1 of the God Simulator but bigger, where you need to kill the opposite gang members. But maybe this won't feel like Payday, who knows. Police investigation before calling the freaking army makes sense on most maps, make it occur more, it feels more immersive. Also, some kind of police negotiation system would be nice. What if the number of enemies killed and stuff destroyed would impact the number of cops spawning or the ease of getting out of custody? Or maybe add an option to trade hostages for less medic doses spawns next wave. Personally, I would use it all the time. By the way, more types of special enemies. I don't have an exact enemy concept right now, let's leave it for another video. But a refreshment in the current roster is definitely needed. More map-specific bosses. Not Dark Souls-like bosses with phases, but not just bullet sponges. Okay, this is a big one. Real players as specials. How cool would it be, like joining your friend's game playing as a cloaker? Sounds like a dream come true. And obviously it's better than the versus mode everyone wants for some reason. Add it to the list, but I'm not a big fan of it personally. More stylish endings. Not always car shop type endings, but sometimes it's cool to blow something up to escape and not to just drill. More cinematic moments in general, that's what I wanna see. Mutators are fun, but not used in real games at all. Bring them back and with unique rewards. I want the safe house to feel more special. I think an actual customization system and not just the upgrading one might work really well. And if it's too much work, I simply want more incentive to visit the safe house being added, more activities in general. And if upgrades are going to stay, upgrading a room might also improve the perk deck of the heister it's linked to. Just saying. So if most of the old heisters are retired, why can't they still come back as contractors? Stealing paintings for Duke and Coke for Jimmy makes sense. Bigger DLC packs. Yes, I've said it, I'm not against the DLC system, at least it's better than the never-ending microtransactions and loot boxes. Getting what you have paid for is awesome. But please make the DLCs more interesting and full of content. In short, I want more wolf packs and less cartel optics, crossplay, and regular console updates that come with it. I'm not a console player myself, but this is the modern gaming standard which is good to follow. Okay, and the last two, but those two are really important. I would say those two are the most important of them them all. So let me start, or should I say finish, with the question: why do you still play Payday 2? If you are new to the game, the answer is obvious, but for me Payday 2 has turned into a modding platform, which I am using to just enjoy everything that our amazing community has to offer. By the way, I still make my own mods, but I'm really new to it and super slow, so that sucks. But all the custom maps, guns, or just meme quality of life mods are so well done, that's the sole reason Payday 2 is staying relevant in 2020 for me, and I don't want it to go away. I want an in-game map maker that doesn't turn into Super Mario Maker or LBP, HUD editor, open source code. But here's the problem: what most veteran Payday 2 players want to see added: anti-cheat. And this is the great Payday dilemma, as I call it. Yes, for me the gameplay and the freedom are much more important than some 6th graders using cheat engine or whatever they're using to spawn bags. But on the other hand, I want to see leaderboards, clans added, crime spree rework, and all the features I've just listed require the game to ensure the fairness for every single gamer. I have some ideas on how to make it work, but I want to hear what you guys have to say on this, and then we'll talk about it in depth. Please, if you have any opinion or you know more about game development than me, write me anywhere and debate on this topic all around the internet. The way that developers are going to resolve this dilemma will determine the future of this franchise. Believe me, this is important. And while we're on the topic of communication, one last thing: the communication with the developers themselves. You know, coming from TF2, the Overkill is doing this one perfectly, but the bar is instead really high up, don't you think? I know that the things I want to see in Payday 2 may turn out to be awful or hard to make. Business's feature might turn out great or might ruin the game's tone, be too OP or grindy. But if this is the case, I want to log on to Reddit someday and see a notification pop up about a new post that said something in the lines of: last 2 weeks we tried to implement a set feature to the game, we failed because of this and that. Stay tuned for this thing we've been working on since then. I know, we all love Payday Twitter, man, but him following you isn't the same as reading the developer AMA, hearing them talk on stream, or seeing Almir in front of the camera, for God's sake. So, in short, what's my wish list for Payday 3? You liking this video? I'm not joking, this helps to promote the video and make Payday a topic of discussion. And the other thing is just, I don't know, Payday being great again. No politics in here, Bane is already a president, let's just make Payday great again. Yes, as simple as that. See you in CrimeNet.